Good morning, RMC, and all those listening remotely to this, our third week of our online service. A lot of people are asking when exactly we'll be heading back to our live service, and that all depends on the government. We're following the presidential and local guidelines, so whenever they give us the green light, we'll go ahead and do that. Anything more would be, I think, a bad testimony, perhaps a stumbling block if you try to force ahead with a service of any sort during this time. So speaking of what we're involved in here last few weeks, I thought it might be good to talk to Mike Schaefer, Dr. Mike Schaefer, because he's on the front lines. He's one of the doctors at Lehigh Valley Hazleton, and so I have Mike with me now, and he's a resident here of Eagle Rock. Of course, he attends RMC too. Mike, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. We've been praying for you, obviously, and Monica. You're on the front lines as members of the staff of Lehigh Valley Hospital in Hazleton. We're hearing more and more about Hazleton being a hot spot in the state of Pennsylvania. So can you tell us a little bit about what's been happening in the past week and what you've been seeing?
Yes, I worked the last week, and we've been averaging about 15 to 20 patients a day in the hospital with the COVID-19 virus. We've had several people on ventilators, at least 2 or 3 a day, maybe 4 or 5. And I think we've had 3 deaths so far, and it's going to get much worse. They predict it's going to peak probably in 1 to 2 weeks.
Now, 1 to 2 weeks here in the Hazleton area?
Yes. And they're expecting Hazleton to be the worst area in the county because we have a large Hispanic population and many people living, in one facility in close contact, and they have relatives that come from New York and New Jersey that can be contaminated. So this could be really a bad situation in Hazleton in the next few weeks.
Now, I know you told me earlier you went out to Aldi's to do a little grocery shopping. People are concerned about going out into the community. What are some of the precautions they can take if they're leaving their home?
Well, certainly everything that they're telling us on the news. Social distancing is very important. Stay 6 feet away. They're telling us now to wear a mask. Now, the masks are not for your own protection to keep you from getting the virus. They're really to protect the other people, so in case you're a carrier, so you don't spread the virus to other people.
So if everybody's wearing a mask and they go out in public, that's really going to minimize the possibility of people catching the virus, because some people don't even know they have it and are out in public now.
Yes, exactly. Some people can have no symptoms or minor symptoms and not even know they have the virus.
Now, Mike, I know you're a man of faith. I know there's been a lot of fear depending on what news outlet you listen to. Give us your perspective as a doctor and as a man of faith. What's the Lord been showing you, and what should be our reaction from the standpoint of being wise but yet people of faith?
Yes, certainly we need to be responsible and be cautious and follow the guidelines with the, like we said, social distancing. Hand washing is very important because that's how we usually get the virus, is by touching it and spreading it by contact, and that's why they tell you not to touch your face. That's hard to do. But as far as your faith, I don't think you can be afraid. I think you have to trust the Lord, and I up passages if I can share them with you.
Sure.
Psalm 118:6 says, "The Lord is with me; I will not be afraid." And Psalm 91:5 through 6, "You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by the day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys the midday, or at midday." And then I think the best one is Isaiah 12:2. "Surely God is my salvation; I will trust and not be afraid. The Lord is my strength and my song. He has become my salvation." I think that's the one I like the best.
Amen. And I'm sure you pray those even before you go to work, or keep those in mind as you're right there, as close as you can get to people that are, carrying this.
Yes, I pray for everyone, in the whole country, that are affected not only by the virus but by the effects, on their jobs and their livelihood, and certainly for the healthcare workers. They're out there on the front lines and being exposed every day.
Well, that would include you, and also Monica is right there with you. So we're praying for you. We're your prayer support, and just keep us posted. Maybe we'll check in with you next week locally to find out if things have changed. We're praying for things to get better. But again, thanks, Mike, for being with us this morning.
Well, thank you, and we certainly appreciate your prayers, and I know everybody at the hospital will.
I want to thank Dr. Mike Schaefer for spending some time with us. If you'd like to get a hold of Dr. Mike, he has actually volunteered his services to answer any questions. He can be reached at monicaschaefer3@gmail.com. So if you want to correspond with him, feel free to write that email address down, and I'm sure he'd be glad to hear from you. Right now it's time for us to get to our worship portion of the service. So enter into God's presence as we worship the Lord together.